10 more comics. Only 10 more. Only 10 more. It's the longest show we've ever had. So buckle up. I'm glad you guys are here. This dog's ready. Woof woof. Next comic coming up to the stage. Very, very dear friend of mine. You can see him perform all over the Northwest. He's a hoot and a fucking holler. Please give it up for Kris Cox, everybody!
That music is way too cool for me. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm definitely a 20-something white dude wearing an anime hoodie. That was definitely too thuggin'. Boy, you guys are really sticking it out. I'm real proud of you guys. Honestly, give it up for yourselves. This has been great. All right? Hell yeah. Now, Rochelle did mention that my name is Kris Cox. And that name is exactly as fun to grow up with as it sounds. When I was a freshman in high school, I'm sorry children, I didn't know you were going to be here. We're going to keep going. When I was a freshman in high school, my brother was a senior in high school. And that meant that for a year of his life, he got to be known as Big Cox. Yeah, good for him, right? That piece of shit. That does mean, though, that for a year of my life, I got to be known as Little Cox. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get a date with a girl with a name like Little Cox. But I have, and I can't do it, folks. I don't have that kind of swagger. I know you're shocked. And then the next year, I broke my leg. And they have a fun term for someone who has to crutch around for a while, and that's a gimp. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get a date with a sane girl with a name like Gimpy Cox. But I have, and I can't do it, folks. Every date ends the exact same way. The safe word is pineapple. Zip. It's okay, the four of you that laughed at that are like the most interesting people in this room, and we know that now. That's fine. The rest of you should Google what a safe word is, though. I'm sure it's going to come up. You live in Portland. In my fourth year of high school, we found out that I might not graduate on time. And I was okay with that. I was going to throw on a cape, be a super senior. I was fine with it. My dad disagreed. So he informed me that if I did not, in fact, graduate on time, he was going to legally change my middle name to Loves. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get a date with a girl with a name like Christopher Loves Cox. But I didn't like my odds, which is exactly what I told him when I handed my diploma on fucking time. All right? I'm not saying he was the best dad ever, but I will say that he was never dicking around about my education. That one got what it deserved. That's fair. Now, 8-year-old Chris, a shorter version of this somehow, was very convinced that we had no choice based on our last name. No other choice but to do porn. And we are all so happy that that is wrong. Turns out porn requires certain equipment. What I'm really saying is I was going to make you laugh one way or the other, and I'm much happier doing it from behind a microphone than in front of a camera. That's the moral there. Now it turns out I was wrong. Right? Like, you get to just grow up and do whatever you want. You can go be a normal person, get a normal job. Like I could have been an architect. Obviously, I'm not, but I could have been. All right? I'd have walked in and I'd have been like, hey, I'm here to design your dream home. Yeah, what's your name? Kris Cox. And like, they giggle for a few minutes, but they get over it, right? Now, a friend of mine is named Katie Kent Nutter. She is a huge Harry Potter fan. And so she named her firstborn son after her favorite character, Sirius Black. That child's name is Sirius Nutting. And I cannot tell you how proud I was to find a baby with a more porned up name than me. Golden moment in my life. Like, he could not be an architect. He'd walk in and be like, hey, I'm here to design your dream home. Yeah, what's your name? Sirius Nutting. No, you're not. Get the fuck out. And I don't think it's her fault or my fault. There's something about growing up in Alaska that messes with you, okay? I did grow up in the tiny village of North Pole, Alaska. That is a real place. You can Google that, okay? And North Pole is everything you're imagining right now. You know in Nightmare Before Christmas, when Jack goes to Christmas Town? I lived in Christmas Town. And it turns out that Christmas is an awful lot like Vegas. Yeah, it's great to visit, but you do not want to live there. Okay? Like back home, if I take some shrooms and I go on a walk, and on that walk I see some jolly red fat fuck being dragged along by 8 dainty moose, the only thing I get to think is, I wonder when this is gonna kick in. I need you to understand how bad Alaska messes with people's brains though, okay? And how real that story was. Because there is a gentleman who grew up there and he got old and fat and quite frankly bearded enough that he decided to legally change his name to Santa Claus. And then that dude wound up on the North Pole City Council for 6 years. You can also Google that. Like that is facts, okay? And I don't know, man. The weirdness of Alaska starts all the way back in the education system. I remember my first assembly ever, right? I was 5 years old. They brought us into the gymnasium, okay? The lights all went off, a projector screen came down, and a miracle happened as 100 children shut the fuck up at the same time. And then on that screen is security camera footage of a very well-dressed man standing outside of a mall doing one of these numbers. Just trying to call some kind of an animal over, right? And we're excited, this is a mystery now. And then the screen goes black and this massive fur moves out of the way and we watch a moose rear back and punch this man down into hamburger meat. And then my gym teacher runs across the stage, snatches the microphone out of the stand and goes, and that's why you're not supposed to pet the fucking moose. And then they sent us back to class. That was it. That was the whole assembly. And I don't know, nobody normal ever goes to Alaska. No one who's sane chooses to live there, okay? For example, my grandma grew up in Thailand. A nice warm place, okay? However, my grandma also has fun experiences that other people don't have, okay? One time when my grandma was 16, she was walking along the river in Thailand, just bringing water back to the village, all right? And some tiger walks up on her, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna eat you. And my grandma went, no you're not, and she stabbed him in the eye. Your grandma ever been in a knife fight with a tiger? Yeah, no one has ever said yes to that, not once. She decided to go live in Alaska. All right, my dad, he tried his best. We had a fun thing that happened when I was a kid. My dad realized that I have this fun glitch in my head, where when I see a baseball flying towards my face, rather than thinking something smart like dodge, all I get to think is, wow, that's really pretty. And then there's a white light and I wake up later. Your laugh is sinister, I love you. And so for my 7th birthday, my dad bought me what normal people call a pitching machine. And what I called the painful nap time machine. And what my dad called hours of entertainment. No? That's okay. Well, it happened to me. I'm obviously okay. It's gonna be fun. There is something, however, about growing up in an environment where your testicles have to live near your heart for warmth that bitters you in some way. I don't know what the science on it is, but I can prove that it happens. I'll be listening to my music, okay? Like shit I decided to listen to. And I can't help but have sarcastic remarks for the lyrics. It'll be shit like, every time I look at you, I go blind. Yeah, because you're not supposed to stare at the fucking sun. I think that's obvious. Or, why can't I breathe? mind whenever I think about you. That's autoerotic asphyxiation, Liz, and we are fucking worried. I think my favorite this week, though, is, this sex is on fire. And that's why you're not supposed to fuck Boy Scouts, ladies and gentlemen. They're trained to do one thing and one thing only, and that is start a fire with the least amount of friction possible. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one for coming out. I have been Kris Cox.